This is for the faction. So today I'm going to be just demonstrating a 255 that I have. It's a double tap, and it's just a basic one. So this one's pretty cheap in TNT. If I'm correct, it's like almost 700 maybe. It might actually be cheaper or more expensive than that. So let's just see real quick. So it's a double tap, so the barrel's a little weird because of that. It's fairly cheap, and it is not a fusion. So 716 dispensers. So it's not a fusion. It's a 5 float, if I'm correct. Yep, it's a 5 float. Basically, you can just get rid of this, and then all you have to do is flick these. So basically, how it works. I'll start with just a basic sand stack. So what you want is you want this disabled. You don't really need this, so it doesn't really matter. This is your slap bust, so yeah, keep that enabled. And then this is your scatter, so enable that. And then make sure that that's disabled and that's disabled. Alright? And then I can just... Alright. Now firing it. So it's just your basic scatter, nothing much. Scatter and slap us. So there you go. It's not a very big scatter. You can add more if you want, but this is decent scatter. Alright, and then now I'm going to demonstrate the regen bust. So to do this, it's pretty easy. What you're going to want to do, and might as well get that down farther so you can see it stack all the way. Now this isn't at height limit, but there's the amount of sand and the hammer is all correct, so don't really need to worry about that. So real regen here, boys. So all you got to do is just enable this, stack inside of here, and as long as everything else is good, you should be fine. Make sure this is disabled, like that right there. And then just keep the scatter enabled. The scatter is it's designed to just make regens obsidian the most. So there you go, you got yourself a decently busted regen on one shot. This block appears here, so you can just get rid of that. So there you go. This is just a basic cannon for people that aren't really looking to, like, you know, breach anything big. So so hold up, I'm gonna see if I can get the double tap right here for you guys. Just so you guys can see. There we go. Alright, so it's pretty simple, the double tap is. Just depending on what you have down here is whether or not you want to change anything on the cannon. So we'll just do it. So for simple purposes, this cannon isn't a fusion, but it also is, if you can't tell from where it is, we're kind of close. So it's not going to do the busting or the back busting as easily as it's close, but you want to disable the hammer for the regen bust or regen bust. Disable the scatter. You're going to want to add a repeater here and a repeater here, and then you'll also want to enable this. And the first thing you're also going to want to do is make that down. So preferably, you can use slab bust on the first shot when back busting, but once the sand is already here, slab bust may rev your one shot sand. So preferably, as long as there aren't any slabs down here, usually there aren't, sometimes there are. If there are slabs, what you'll do is you'll just fire it, wait for this to, basically it'll be like this will go off, and nothing will happen here, and then as soon as it does, you just enable this. So for simple purposes, we'll just use it the first shot and then get rid of it the second shot. So hopefully I did this right. I should just back bust. go. So because we're so close, in reality the hammer would clip on this gravel, but since we have a lot of power, it's actually not. So you just, for purposes. So basically the issue with the sand or the slab bust is that when this stacks, slab bust is going to hit down and the one-shot sand is going to go upwards. So usually you're going to want to get rid of your slab bust on this, or at least make it like 1 TNT. But if you have issues, like here, I'll just do it right here. You can just /fire. So first shot, it's disabled, and then you add the redstone. So that's the second shot. See? So there you go, and then we'll just quickly try and do this a little quicker. So I'm gonna disable the slab bust now. So you can use this at 255. I would preferably not. It is a 255. You would make this out of cauldrons. The only reason why I wouldn't do it at 255 is because anti-255s are a thing now, and you also have to worry about like how they're you can only fit, I think, 500 sand. So like if you come here, it's 255. So if you put your sand up to 255, which is right here, and then just count the sand, there should be only like 500. So I guess you could raise the barrel, but preferably just don't do it at 255. This is just a simple regen buster that can go up to 255, so that's how I kind of use it. Use it sparingly. Use it for bases that have like maybe like 15, 10 IGs, and you don't need a huge cannon to build. This is like a perfect cannon for that raid. Because it's a double tap, it's 700 TNT, and it's very like basic, I guess. It's not hard to use. There's really only 2 things you need to know about it. So this cannon should work on Cosmic, but I should probably test it first before you do it. So at this point, there's 2 things you could do. You could do the normal regen bust, which is where water flows in. Like you could just do that, or you can have the same thing we did with the slab bust earlier. You fire the first time, you wait for this to go off, and then you enable it, and it should be a little bit bigger of a bust. So there you go. So that's backbusting, and then to test it, the thing is that since it's not a parafusion, and basically what parafusions do is they have they use 2 powers. So like 1 power is usually like twice this amount. So this thing actually shoots quite far because it's not fusioning, and so because of this, you can, I think this thing can regen bust nearly like I tested it, I think over 30 chunks away. So it's a good cannon like for that as well. So I'll enable regen bust. So to enable regen bust from this, you would just enable that, enable this here, which is slab bust, because you're going to need slab bust usually, and then keep your scatter enabled. And then to get rid of that, to get rid of the double tap, you just get rid of these repeaters, and then you just get rid of this redstone, and then there you go. So I'll get rid of the scatter so you guys can see that, but that's about 20 chunks ish away. So it's like more of like 30, but I'll do it again. There you go. So slab bust down here, so it's perfect, just like your normal cannon. So I'll put this in the chat or the link. It's just a very simple cannon to use. It's pretty small. Barrel's pretty nice. You have some decent Y level to adjust, but if you want to get to stack it to 55, you would just get rid of this right here, move it up like 2 blocks, and it'd work the exact same. So but yeah, and then just very easy, just make sure you fill this with gravel and fill this all the way up. Don't stack it any higher than what it is on the schematic, and you might want to, here actually in the schematic when I do this, place obsidian. So there you go. The cannon's fairly easy, simple to use. So, and then if you're ever like raiding and you're not using this at 255 but you're still using it anyway, you can attempt to like move this a little farther back and it'll use less sand. So like you do this, and then you can figure it out. you just want to move it around. So yeah, the cannon's very simple. Cannon's pretty nice. Probably gonna use it a couple times today. Just because this can also go through antis, but you just have to OSRB it like normal. So easy cannon to use. A lot of slab busts, so slabs are an issue. Sand comp is nice. So hopefully you guys can use this, and then I'll be demonstrating the parafusion pseudo in the next video. So peace.